Be analyzing June Flight's 1v1s. Of course, this is the 5th straight year that I've done this type of video, so I want to thank you guys for keeping this series alive. Just like the other videos, I'll be breaking down June Flight's game, his 1v1 record, his stats, and a shot chart with all his makes and misses. Then at the end of the video, I'll be comparing this June Flight to the past years to see how much he has improved. The stats in this video will shock you, so without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's talk about June Flight's overall game this year. Offensively, Flight improved tremendously at the rim. He decided to play more off 2 feet, which worked in his favor. He was way more controlled and even developed a nice step through. He got a lot of people in the air since they were all going for the block. Also, Flight had a nice setup with the hesitation that allowed him to explode and
he getting better. Well, I don't even know he getting better, but is he getting better? That's the question.
quickly gathered himself at the rim. It did look like Flight gained some muscle since he was finally leaning into the contact. However, something that Flight needs to improve is his pace. At times, he plays way too fast, which results in easy missed layups. He needs to know when to slow down and stop making his shots harder than they need to be. The potential and improvement are there, but it's those plays that make the difference and decide a game. Also, Flight needs to stop being too predictable. There were many instances where the defense already knew what he was going to do before he even did it.
That ain't your June, nigga. That shit last year, June Flight.
Hold on, I gotta see that one more time.
What he was going to do before
so
he even
funny.
did it.
That ain't your June, nigga. That shit last year, June Flight.
That's when the
He said, so this is last year June Flight.
basketball IQ comes in. He needs to adjust just like the defense is doing and learn how to counter his shots. Now, when it came to his jump shot, Flight was very inconsistent. At times, he showed glimpses of a proper form, but then he would go on rough stretches. For example, when he played Kenny, Flight started the game 3-for-4 from downtown. His follow-through looked great and he had the right shooting motion. However, due to his poor stamina, he missed the next 4 consecutive threes. These shots were all rushed and some even way too far. Flight needs to stop relying so heavily on his 3. Later in the shot chart, you're gonna notice that a good majority of Flight's misses were deep 3s. That type of shot selection cost him a very winnable game against Kenny. At some point, Flight just needs to lay off the dud pack.
He do. He already has bad stamina as it is. He don't be really running on the treadmill or nothing outside either. Sure, he really got to stop laying off that duck pack. that's probably the worst shit that fuck with your really your stamina.
You saw how much it affected Cash, so if Flight can just lock in for a month, he's going to have the energy to win games. That's also gonna prevent more airballs, as in this June, Flight averaged roughly an airball per game. It's the little things that are going to make the difference between winning and losing a tight game. Lastly, let's talk about Flight's defense. Just like his offense, there were signs of him actually using his size. However, he did have a hard time contesting jumpers. He plays way too far back, and by the time he puts his hands up, he's way too late. Also, he gets blown by way too easily. Guys like Julian Newman had a field day against Flight, and it all starts with his defensive stance. He's literally standing up on defense and for the millionth time, stop doing this football move. It's never worked and it's only going to put you on the wrong side of the highlight. There's literally no way you can guard someone with your back turned. This was probably Flight's worst attribute this June, and it all ties to stamina. Once Flight can improve that, he's going to finish games stronger. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about June Flight's 1v1 record and stats from this year. In June of 2025, Flight played a total of 7 1v1 games, and I'm going to count all of them. This includes all 3 games that he played against Julian Newman. With that in mind,
I didn't know he played 3 games against Julian Newman. I just knew he only played 1. That's one of the ones I watched. I didn't know he played all. I didn't know he played 3 of them hoes.
Flight didn't win a single game this June and had a record of 0-7. His losses came against Julian Newman 3 times, Jeffrey Bowie, Kenny Shao, Adrian Harden, and Cash Nasty. His worst overall game was easily against Julian Newman.
The dude like 5'8".
in the first game they played. In that game, Flight
0 for 4. You want to take this nigga Flight? You're like 6 foot 6'3". He's like 5'8". How? What the? Okay, Flight
got skunked 13-0 and shot 0-4 from the field. Now, despite Flight losing every game, he still had some decent shooting performances. His best game stat-wise was against Julian Newman in the third game they played. Flight shot 53% from the field and had 9 points in a really close battle. Now, if you want to see the rest of the stats from the other games, it is on the screen right now. And
10. 1 for 10, 2 for 15, 3 for fucking 20. This is bad. This is damn 0 for 7. You're bad, Flight. This is bad. Oh my
feel
God.
free to pause the video if you want to see it. Anyways, to conclude this section of the video, Flight had a June record of 0-7, and when you combine this with his all-time record, Flight is now 24 and 128.
Whoa.
Record of 0-7, and when you combine this with his all-time record, Flight is now 24
to 128. Hold on. Yeah, he gotta be the worst. He gotta be the worst. That's an 18% win percentage. That's an 18% win percentage. Oh my God. So you telling me since like 2016, you only won 18% of your games? Flight, you're the worst hooper. You're bad. You're not good. That's
4 and 128. Just to give you guys a quick rundown, Flight was 23 and 112 by the end of last June. He also lost to Jester, Sack TTG, Dino B Balling, Ray Twice, Drift TJ, Silky, Jason DeWeen, and
dog, so many people don't even look like they hoop like that. Flight, you gotta
DDG this year. He only got one win since then, as he beat possibly the worst hooper I've ever seen in Shino. Those 9 losses, as well as the 7 from this June, make the 23 and 112 record go up to 24 and 128.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop hooping, dog.
I don't even know what to say at this point. Now let's talk about June Flight's 1v1 stats from this year. In the 7 games that I researched, Flight attempted a total of 112 shots from the field and made 35 of them, which results in a 31 total field goal percentage.
31% from the fucking field, Flight. Oh my God. 112?
From 3, Flight attempted 40 shots and only made 8 of them, which results in
You couldn't crack 10. You couldn't crack the double digits, man. Oh my
a
God.
20 3-point field goal percentage. Now let's take a look at June Flight's shot chart from 2025. Compared to the previous years, there are not as many shots attempted, but it's still worth breaking down. As you see, Flight was pretty efficient around this right block. This is where most of those 2-foot finishes came from. However, like I said earlier, this is where most of those 2-foot
Yeah, that's good. His 3 points are terrible. Look at how many X's them hoes have. Oh my
finishes
God.
came from. However, like I said earlier, Flight shot way too many deep threes. Yes, he made some, but the percentages showed that he wasn't consistent. And last but not least, Flight shot terribly in both corners. In fact, he went 0 of 11 in those 2 spots
crazy,
combined.
man.
If Flight can just develop some type of mid-range game, he's going to be more efficient. Now, with that being said, let's compare this June Flight to 2024 first. As you
12%? 12%? Not even 15. At least it's 20. 20 ain't better. technically it is better, but it ain't really better. But 12%. Oh my god.
See, Flight's
You don't have a sock selection. You should know where your hot zones and cold zones are. The 3-point, you're freezing. You're frozen. Don't shoot there. You're not gonna make the shot.
field goal percentage went up by 6% and his 3 went up by 8%. Obviously, there's still a lot more work to do, but it's still improvement. Now, in comparison to the other
16%. 20. You shot 16% from the field. Not from 3-point, from the field. Oh my god. His field goal is going up 31%. That's good.
years, this stands out as the most efficient one. 2023 is close to the 3-point percentage, but 2025 has the better total field goal percentage. Obviously, the sample size was smaller and with no wins to back it up, but that's what Flight was able to provide this June. Apparently, he had a quote-unquote grade 1 calf strain.
Hey guys.
He had no shit like that.
Now this part right here is where I suffered a devastating injury, my first time having a grade 1 calf strain. Per doctors, they said I should lay off of it about 1 to 3 weeks, but hey, it's June!
So hopefully Flight can heal up. And that pretty much concludes this video. Now we know how 2025 June Flight performed in comparison to previous years. His finishing definitely improved, but his
I
shot
can be Flight
and defense need to be better. Flight finished this June averaging 6 points per game while shooting 31% from the field and 20% from 3. But what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on June Flight this year? What overall will you give him? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Also, let me know if you guys want me to run back the ones with Flight and also play cash. I know a lot of you have been asking for the ones, so let me know. I hope everyone has a great day. Peace out.
I forgot to record it, but I'm streaming it, so I just do a little extra work. But Flight, you're the worst hooper on YouTube. There's no doubt about it. And I know my stream, I ain't got no views on my stream, or I don't know how many views my reaction video is gonna get. I usually get a decent amount of views on my reaction video for amount of subscribers I have. But if you do see this, let's 1v1. I can definitely beat you. You're not good. I can easily beat you in a 1v1. I know your weaknesses. You don't have no strengths. It's just crazy. It's just really crazy at this point. Oh my god. Yeah, nigga, you ass.